What is up, YouTube? This is PZCSEN here, and today I am finally back with another new video. It has been a little while, I do apologize, but today we're going to be taking a look at a new Zippo that I got last week, actually. And yeah, without further ado, let's go ahead and let's get into this. Now this is actually a Zippo that was on my wish list, so I'm finally starting to dig into that a little bit. And for some reason, it's the normal standard Zippo box, but it did come in a white sleeve. And you can see by the model name that this is actually model 28970, the Skull Soft Touch. Yeah, this is one of those soft touch models that came out last year. There's actually two of these. There's the Skull, and then there's a Zombie. And I opted in for the Skull because I kind of like the way the Skull looked better. Maybe at some point I'll get the Zombie. If I see it at the beach, maybe I'll pick it up there. But I decided to go ahead and place an order for the Skull. So without further ado, let's go ahead and let's check this thing out. Now you'll note that I do have this right here. I've also got another Zippo off to the side over here that we're going to take a look at in a minute. But let's go ahead and let's check this out. So like I said, for some reason this one came in a white sleeve. It's kind of unusual to see that with these standard boxes. You can see it is again the Skull Soft Touch on there. Get rid of that. And let's go ahead and check this out. Ta-da! There it is. Now, something you will notice is that this probably doesn't look kind of what you expected it to look like. That is because for some reason the graphic isn't necessarily lined up the way it is on the stock photos on Amazon. I mean, this one's actually one of the more true looking ones that I've seen. You can tell that that is trying to be a skull. But it doesn't look the same that it does in the stock photos on Amazon. In fact, I noticed that there's another photo on Amazon that shows 4 different examples of this, each one of them looking completely different from one another. So, for whatever reason, these graphics on the Zippo Soft Touches are not necessarily guaranteed to look like what they're advertised to look like, which I think is a little bit lame. I'm not really sure why that is, but alas, there you go. I feel this one is good enough. You'll see we do have a band here that says, "Feel the difference, soft touch." This does feel different than any other Zippo that is on the market. So let's go ahead and let's take this out. It's really stuck in there because it is a soft touch, so it is actually kind of grippy. And there it is. Set that off to the side. There's nothing fancy about the back, by the way. It just says Made in USA. Tells you all that generic stuff. And here is the soft touch. You'll see the design does wrap all the way around the back. All right. Very cool. And it does have a very interesting texture to it. It feels, I really don't know how to describe it. It feels almost like it's made out of rubber. Okay, in fact, I brought this out. This is my little RAV Power UV light. That's also a phone charger. This has that similar kind of texture that you got with some older phones, in that it's made out of hard plastic, as you can hear, but it feels almost like a soft rubber. If you know what I mean, it feels kind of like it's made out of rubber almost. I mean, you can tell it is made out of plastic, but it just feels like it's rubbery almost. Feels like you could drop it and it would bounce, but obviously I'm not going to because it's made out of plastic. So I don't know. That's really the only way I can describe it. This has a similar feeling to that. It isn't exactly the same. In fact, it almost feels like the finish is coming off on my hands, but it's not. Like, I keep looking at my hands because I'm expecting them to be black after handling this thing, but they're not, because it's actually more durable than it feels. So let's go ahead and let's take the sticker off, and we can see what the back looks like. Peel it off like that so I can prevent the sticker from deteriorating. There we have the back, which doesn't really resemble anything, truthfully. Not really sure what that's trying to go for. So let's look at the bottom. This was made in J of 2015, J of last year. This is actually a new model of last year, so this did not come out this year. Nice sound. Let's listen to that again. Beautiful, very nice, shiny insert. And speaking of that, let's see when the insert was made. The insert was made in L of 15. That's rare. I think that's December of last year. So very, very cool. You don't often see things that are made in December in the Zippo world. Actually, I've been kind of curious. Does this have the... All right, no, the insides here do not have that Zippo soft touch feeling to them. You can see it is indeed a, the standard brass base, obviously. I mean, it's weird because this is made out of metal, but it still does kind of feel like it's made out of rubber. It's kind of bizarre. I'm not entirely sure how they managed to do this, but they sure did. And yeah, it's very interesting. I actually brought with me, let's get this out of the way. I brought with me a matte Zippo. This is my white matte. And it just feels completely different to the matte Zippo. It's just, this one feels like almost feels like it's been painted. You know what I mean? It feels kind of like it's been painted. A lot of the matte Zippos almost feel like, drywall paint in a way. Again, it's kind of a feeling that I don't really know how to describe, but I mean, most of you, I'm sure, if you're into Zippos, most of you have handled a matte Zippo. The white matte is actually a little bit different feeling than some of the other mattes. It's a little bit shinier. It's kind of in between the black matte and the lemon in a way in terms of the actual shine factor. But I mean, it's just a different. It just feels these two Zippos feel completely different. All right, they feel completely and totally different. This is in its own category of material, of texture. It's bizarre. Like I say, it feels almost like an electronic that is trying to mimic the texture of rubber, even though it's made out of plastic. So there you go. I think that is going to do it for this video. I do want to go ahead and say that I am planning on carrying this because, like I say, I want to know just how durable this finish is. Up here at the top, it actually feels kind of gritty in a way. Like here it feels smooth, okay? On the back it feels smooth. But where the Zippo is kind of curved along here, actually this one right here isn't that bad. But the top definitely, and this side, they feel a little bit kind of gritty, almost bumpy. I don't know if I can actually get that on video. Yeah, you can kind of see that. Yeah, there's a little bit of a texture difference going on. So this is totally smooth, but this side, well, not really. It's just, it feels kind of gritty in a way, so I'm not really sure. That's the only way I know how to describe it. You're going to have to get one of these in your hands to truly experience the Zippo Soft Touch. It also has an interesting smell to it. It doesn't smell like, I mean, not that Zippos typically have smells, but this one does, so... I mean, this one doesn't smell like anything, but this one has like a... I don't know how to describe it. It just smells different, so there you go. That's pretty much, again, the only way I can describe that. So yeah, I am going to be carrying this one. I'm going to make this my EDC for a little bit, because I do want to know how durable that finish is. I'm not going to go for anything crazy. I'm not going to try and purposefully abuse it. I'm not going to really... Ordinarily, in the past, when I've done like EDC Zippo tests, I've intentionally carried them with change and whatnot. I just want to see what this is going to fare, what is in there with my wallet, what is in there with whatever happens to be in my pocket. I'm not going to go out of my way to purposely try and abuse it and scratch it, because I do like it, but I do want to know just how durable that is. And if it is kind of fragile, it's not the end of the world, because these are actually very cheap on Amazon. I think I paid about like, oh man, I don't want to give a false number. You know what, I tell you what I'll do. I'll put how much I paid in like in the lower third down here, because I have a number in my head, but I can't remember if that is the actual number, and I don't want to give like a false price. So anyways, guys, there you go. That's going to do it for this video. Thank you guys so very much for watching. The Zippo Soft Touch is a very, very unique feeling Zippo. I don't really know how else to describe it in terms of how it feels, other than it feels kind of like this thing. Or it feels like one of those old cell phones that, again, just has that weird rubbery, hard plastic texture to it. So, guys, that's going to do it. Thank you so very much for watching, and adios.